Welcome to Nerdie Bunch review of Arcane Season 2. My name's English Dave, and joining me as part of the interconnected hive mind that is the Nerdie Bunch is my my co-host, Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
Oh my goodness, what's up, David?
We are one. I am you, and you and me.
Dum.
We are together. We're here to talk Act 3 of Arcane Season 2, which is episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Yes,
the final chapter
It's
in
the
this series, in this
final
saga,
countdown.
bearing any spin-offs, which we can discuss later, assumptions there. This is the end of this particular narrative.
The story,
Andrew,
yep.
Recap-wise, we're left off for the last few episodes, we're left off with Mel captured by the Black Rose. Isha made her sacrifice to save
R.I.P.
Powder and Vi.
Bye, and everyone, really.
And I guess everyone.
Yeah.
Echo and Heimerdinger are still missing. Jace.
It's gone crazy.
Seemingly killed Victor.
Victor gone.
Gone. And Caitlyn betrayed Ambessa.
It's not going to end well.
That's what we're going into.
That's just on me.
And not to speak of all the other issues that are going on.
The other 52 million other sub-problems and side problems.
This final act, spoiler-free before we go into full spoilers. What did you think?
Arcane will definitely go down as one of the best animated things I've seen in my lifespan. 100%, no doubts. Some of the visuals, the views, the colors, just the timing of things, even the banter, right? Like the actual dialogue, the writing, top notch. Which also is my frustration, right? Because it sounds weird to almost say I needed 2 more seasons, or I needed each episode to come out and then give me a week to digest it, right? That's how dense I feel some of the things that happened were. And that's honestly to their credit. Like I'm super curious. I wonder if I may honestly go play League of Legends. I never thought I would, but I feel like there's an itch that they've now created in me that is forever going to need this to be itched, because I love the characters. I love some of the portrayals. Again, just some of the visuals that I can't wait to get to, and just some of the fights, especially in the finale. Just fantastic, man. So if they're not planning spin-offs, which I think they are, they better do that right now. Like, I need a spin-off for each character over the next 20 years, man. We have to go deep. They can't leave me hanging like this. So again, fantastic, top tier. Most of my issues would be in just some rushed feelings of things, but in terms of the content itself and the portrayals, just hats off.
I think this finale left me bittersweet, in the sense that, the overall story that was told from season 1 till now, like you said, is probably some of the best, not just animated storytelling, but some of the best storytelling I've seen in the last few years. I think it's up there with my absolute favorites of all time.
Yeah.
If anything, this says that get that team, give them a movie. Like
movies.
Movies. I want animated movies in this kind of style and tone. I think they do a fantastic job with all the technical stuff and the storytelling. We had concerns going into this episode from last week's podcast that we weren't sure if they will be able to in a satisfying way close out all the narratives, and unfortunately, I think that was true.
They did not.
They did not. So, and in some cases, it's not necessarily a place of if the ending was satisfactory. Some of the endings made sense. It's just I felt the journey there felt a bit rushed, or skipped, or we missed something. But the end point makes sense. It's just some of the stuff felt that, and you can feel. I think you can feel the difference that. I don't believe they started this going into this as the final season. You can feel the pivot.
Where it's like, all right, guys, it's closing in 2 hours. Let's go. Let's go, everyone.
Exactly. And I don't mean that as in like a lack of quality, because they, even despite that, the quality is still up there. They still put the detail and the effort into the quality. It just means that they couldn't go deeper as we wanted them to go. But again, some stuff got ended up in places that we thought it was going to end. There were some surprises. in a good way. Some things that we thought were going to happen, some
Yep.
theories we assumed didn't pan out as we thought in a good way, and some did pan out as we thought in a good
Mhm.
way. I don't think anything that actually happened. I don't think I disagreed with anything that actually happened.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, I just disagreed with how we got there. Sometimes felt rushed to have gotten there, and I wish
Mhm.
sometimes there's some character moments of closure that don't feel like real closure. That felt that we needed to have like a bit of a longer conversation before we,
Mhm.
move on. I
Yeah.
have no problem with moving on. And part of the narrative the story plays on is it plays with does the past define your future?
Mhm.
I won't go into details of who of certain characters, but we talk about the past and how actions of the past might define your future. And can we go back from that? Is there such a thing as retribution? Is there such a thing as forgiveness and things like that? And all these things I agree with, but these things come along with conversation and and
Mhm.
and, and
Some
examination.
rapport and yeah,
you know,
slowly peeling back the layers of the onion, right? Of this.
exactly, exactly. And we don't slowly peel the aliens. Someone just chucked right through.
Like a cake in
It's
your face, but it tastes really nice. It's like, oh, I mean, it's a nice cake, but what did you have to smash it in my face?
exactly. And that's
Mm.
where the disappointments come from. Um, I think at this point we can go into spoilers.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So we're going to do things a bit different. Yeah. Because this is one of those shows where I think any other show had some of these disappointments. I would just go on a tirade rant about how
Mhm.
much I hate this thing. But this show, it's one of those things where, okay, yes, it's disappointing, but I can't ignore, five things can't make me ignore 50 things that I love.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that makes sense, and
correct.
I don't want it to go into that point because
Yeah,
I don't want people thinking he hated it because of these 5 things. I'm saying the word number 5 just as a
uh,
number, not necessarily there's only 5 things that I didn't like,
yeah,
but just by comparison. So, I wanted to start off airing our grievances. Andrew, we're gonna go back and forth. We just talk about the things we did not like, and then we're gonna
mhm.
go into the actual podcast dissecting it about what we did like. So, I'll start with you. Name something you did not like.
Um, Echo story. I feel I wanted a lot more time to digest. And I'm also not really happy with his ending, but that's the ending part is neither here nor there. That's like a personal thing, not necessarily on the story. But even with him, with Heimdigger and the multiverse, like dropping all of that on me, and then be like, all right, next go. I feel like I was still trying to. This is why I said again, kind of on popular opinion. If it was going to be exactly this, maybe the episodes should have been spaced out more. I don't know.
Mm,
Maybe
mm, mm,
maybe
mm.
it would have given me more time to kind of like live in the world or like fill in the blanks in my head of the stories and the blah and read some Reddit posts and talk to you and other people, right? But it just felt like I didn't get to really focus on Echo's story just because of in the grand scheme of Jace and Victor, Vi and Jinx and versus Vander, Warwick, Caitlyn and Mbessa, Mel and Black Rose. He almost fell out of the top most important stories. And I think it was a very pivotal character. I love his entry at the end. Fantastic, right? When he flew in on the hoverboard, like just amazing. But yeah, anyways, not to overwrap, but I just feel like I wasn't very happy with the complete treatment of that story because I felt like I needed to get a lot more that I feel like happened behind the scenes, or just things could have been played out a little bit better with how I guess Echo's story was handled for me. So that's one.
It's funny you bring Echo up because I think and I won't go into detail, but episode 7, the Echo focused episode, is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season.
Exactly.
But it feels like you're throwing in it too late
Yeah.
when everything's wrapping up. Almost, I
Yeah.
wish we almost had it earlier on. And I agree with you. I think Echo's one of those characters. Just as a character, this is the most we see him all season.
Yeah.
And as a character, it's almost he was sidelined, thrown into this abyss or whatever with
Yeah.
Heimerdinger and Jace. But even then, Jace still had more of a significance,
Yeah.
to the
Overall.
story. And to kind of piggyback off of that, I feel the same about Mel. I think
Mm-hmm.
her storyline, there's so much, and I say this because I'm interested in her story, but her story almost felt like a different story, like a backdoor pilot. for
Yeah.
another show.
No, for real though. Like just like, oh, she has her own complete separate show and this is her doing a crossover with
Right,
with this
right.
show, right?
That's how I felt because it didn't really feel like part of this narrative. Yes, they tried to bring things in towards the end because it was like, having Mel trying to side with Ambessa to be like, she even says, your war has nothing to do with the people of
Yeah. Yeah.
and so it's like, yeah, it
Totally.
has nothing to do with it. And so I wish, and again, we'll go to this later. It's almost as though setting up for, I almost feel like whatever future series they do would be focused on Mel
Mm-hmm.
because they're putting this little focus on this whole Black Rose storyline and things like
Yeah.
that. I don't know about some incoming impending doom, but it just felt like she wasn't really part of the story to do with Victor and all those people and stop at the Arcane. It was just more about stop my mother and the Black Rose, different storyline. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
She
fair
just
enough.
happens to be here while all this is going on, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It could
yeah,
have been
yeah.
anywhere.
I also feel the same thing if I come back to you about Vi. I think overall she is in just terms of this world, she's my favorite character from season one. And I felt like she hasn't had much to do. She's kind of going with the motions. The
Yeah.
focus has been a lot more on Powder,
Mhm.
Jinx than it has been on Vi. Vi's just kind of been going through the motions. Anytime we see anything with her that could be plot based, we see it through montage.
Mhm.
Right? We don't really get to be with her. It's just either fighting with Caitlyn or fighting with Powder or fighting with Caitlyn again. And
Yeah.
getting back together with Caitlyn and getting back together with Powder. And then with both of them, both Caitlyn and Powder, every time she goes back to them again,
It's
we
like
don't
a
have
switch.
this convers. Yeah, it's just we're good again. We're
Oh, we're
sisters.
friends again.
We're friends again. We're
Yay.
lovers again.
Oh my god.
There's no, we're not talking about the past. Shit, we even get a moment where Kate tries to tell Vi, when we were apart, I was hooking up with. Nah, I don't mind. Move on.
Did like
And I feel
your lips.
And I feel like that's symbolic of what this narratives in the show is doing sometimes when you try to ask these questions like,
It's like, please, we have a lot to get to. Okay, just don't question anything.
let's move on from this. Uh what anything else that you don't like?
Like I said, mine was just overall, I guess, with the pacing. So like even with the Jace, so I like that we did get to see kind of the reasons behind him going, crazy haywire.
He wasn't controlled
Yes.
as we thought.
No, just straight up, forced into action, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess just same thing, right? I still, I wanted to have more time to kind of experience him in this world, like losing his mind slowly, not losing, right? Or just being brainwashed by this idea of, yeah, I can't let this happen, right? And the thread, because I think the thread with Victor being the one who told him in that world to go back, but they didn't reveal that to the end. Very nice, right? But I just again it just felt very very quickly introduced and quickly resolved.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And I wanted that to kind of extend. That's like multi-season stuff, right?
Mhm,
That type of thing. And yeah, it just felt strong, I guess, again with that Jace thing. And I feel like Jace and Mel did not interact at the end.
mhm.
Am I remembering correctly? I don't think I remember seeing them have any sort of
No,
post
she doesn't we don't see her
conversation.
come back again with him. She's just in the room holding her
Y-
mother's
Yeah.
mask.
And I don't like that also, right? Like that's a conversation that I feel like we didn't get some closure in a lot of the interactions, right? Every pair needed to have a conversation. Echo needed to have a convo with Jinx before she supposedly went off and maybe died, maybe didn't die. So I just feel like yeah, there were a lot of loose ends in the way two characters had been dealing all season that just wasn't given the time to even if it like a I don't know 20-second call per person or per interaction. I would have liked that, and I just felt like it was very, very evident with Jace because I was just thinking about him and Victor, him and Mel, and then that led to other things like and that so on forth.
You can talk about that. Even someone like Caitlyn, right? There's a line when she's talking to Vi, and Vi says, "She went poison in your ear, and you ate it."
Yum
Yeah,
yum yum.
and then Caitlyn responds like, "I know I ate that poison, but I wanted to see her knowing that she ate that poison. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see those moments, right? right, when of her being like, "What have I
Yeah.
done?" What
Yeah,
again, like we
exactly.
spoke last week, her Oppenheimer moment, like, "I have
Yeah.
become death."
Mhm.
You know, have that moment of regret. We don't see that.
Mhm.
And then again, for me, my biggest thing is this whole show from the very beginning, the foundation of all these problems has been because of the class disparity
Yes.
between the haves and the
Like
have-nots.
that was the big thing. It's not
That
even
was
about the
the
victory.
thing.
It's not about victory Jace because that's like a separate thing.
Yes, that was the thing that that started everything off, and it gets fixed because it's like, well, greater threat. Let's come
Yeah.
together. Yay!
But
Oh,
then
great.
yeah, I needed after that to almost have like again to my Naruto fans out there, right? It was like Sasuke after they got rid of the big beast, it was then like aha, back to our fight.
So,
All
as
right.
we were saying,
Exactly. It's not just like a whoo, all right, yeah, let's forget everything. And
right?
even characters like sorry, Ceviche,
Yeah.
how do you say her name? Who ended up on the council.
Mhm.
Like, okay, it's almost like she okay, now I'm here, as opposed to a little bit of friction,
Mhm.
right? In them being reminded of, listen, don't let's not forget what was just happening last week.
Right. Right. Like you guys gassed us.
Yeah,
Like, you guys blew up our
literally.
building, you know, things like that. Like
You need
yeah,
to
for
cut
me,
it.
for me, it was just missing again. I think for me that was one of the biggest issues was that this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing was about the class disparity, and then it always felt like Victor's storyline was brought in just to wrap this storyline really quickly, because Victor's storyline, in terms of the greater narrative of things, comes in late in the game, right?
Yeah,
You know, and so, but then it becomes the main storyline, and it's not even set up as if like this was the underlining story the whole time, though
yeah.
it tries to be, and we'll get to that with the whole giving the thing to Jace when he was a young kid.
When it was a child, yeah,
So, but that seems more serving of Victor's story as
yeah.
opposed to the
The
greater,
class
larger story.
warfare and yeah, the
You know,
issues on ground.
and yes, okay, fine. Victor tries to say he was trying to. The whole point of him doing everything was to stop this class warfare and fighting amongst everybody to put
Mm-hmm.
everybody on a level playing field. But again, I just feel like it's a shortcut
Mm-hmm.
to so that we don't have to have the discussions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we play with these places again. Caitlin touches on it when she talks about the fact that no one's guilty. Everyone has done things. She has a conversation with when she's trying to convince Jinx later on, saying
Yeah,
that our past doesn't define her. I like all that. I love all that. But we need to see how she got to that place.
yeah.
Anything else that stood out to you that you wish you saw more of?
Maybe the last one would be kind of the Black Rose too.
Mhm.
It was the same point. I just felt like I still have a lot of questions as to, and maybe that's what leads them to do a show on Mel, right? It could be one of those complaints that in the future is fixed due to new material coming out, right? But it's just yeah, there are too many questions I had as to just the inner workings of the Black Rose that
Mhm.
definitely did not feel like it had enough time to be delved into. And I loved it, right? I loved even the way Mel pulled up on her at the end and was like,
Mhm.
"Nah,
He said, "What are you doing? What are you
d-
doing, Mel?"
so funny." She's like, "Damn, gotcha." Double victory, double homicide. But I just yeah, there was a lot there. I feel like there was a lot there, and even like the thing with her brother, like I want to know more as to the specifics of how he was taken out or what happened to him in the past,
Mhm.
right? Not just like, oh yeah, he existed. Oh, sorry, he's gone.
Or even a narrative with the doctor, his daughter, bringing him back
Ah,
and
yes.
and everything with Vanda and turning
Mm-hmm.
Vanda because you turn Vanda, and it's almost just there as a mini point because he turns back into the wolf and then the Vanda dies, and things like that. And it doesn't. I would love to have seen them struggle with him, human side and animal side, for at
A
least
little bit
half the
more. Yeah.
season,
It was
you
so
know.
quick. It was so quick, right?
Right, right. We couldn't enjoy it to be because I wanted to enjoy it more. So the disappointment when he actually dies is
Hmm.
felt like real,
Yeah.
right? And
Whereas now I was like, yeah, I mean, duh. I mean, he's been gone.
right, right. So it doesn't have the same kind of impact, and we don't get to the details. We get teases of the past with the parents. And what was that all about? I thought we were going to get a whole episode in the past to really
Yeah.
inform us, but we don't get any of that. And just for me, it's just that disappointment.
No.
But unless there's anything else. I'm sure there's other things I'll remember as we talk, but
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to keep ramming on it. Let's actually talk about the things we did like. We're gonna go
Turn
through
that
episode
frown upside down.
because I enjoyed this show. I don't
Oh,
regret this
oh,
show.
so good.
I had a good time with this show.
Regrets? Not at all.
Um, I want to talk about episode 7. Episode
Yes,
7
please. Let's go in
introduces
order.
the multiverse. We get time travels, alternate
Mhm.
realities. We find out what happened to Heimerdinger and
Yes.
Echo.
Phew, not dead.
Uh, What I find interesting about this as well is that we get 2 alternate timelines of what could be. Right? We
Mhm.
get one timeline where Hex Tech was never discovered and everything's
Yeah.
all great. We get
Mhm.
another timeline where Jace is in, where the Hex Tech has completely
It's
destroyed
so
everything.
hex tech, yeah.
It's so crazy. Both have lessons to be learned.
Mhm.
Echo goes through a great lesson because he starts learning the lesson of forgiveness
Mhm.
and difference. He has a lot of hatred and anger, understandably, for Echo,
Yeah.
and in this alternate reality, he starts putting that towards
Jinx.
Powder, Jinx.
Jinx, yeah.
In this universe,
So you
she
messed
never.
my brain too. I was like, wait, did I? My brain
and you
crisscrossed.
were like, yeah.
Yeah, I said yeah, and the room like, slow down there, buddy. Powder Jinx, yeah, go.
Um, but this is a Powder who never becomes Jinx
Mhm.
because in the heist from episode 1 in season 1, things go very wrong. It goes wrong in the original timeline, but this one goes very wrong, and it ends up with
Here, because of Echo.
of Vi dying.
Bye. R.I.P.
But because they don't discover the gems, there's no hex tech, and a lot of people that died don't die. So it's a different world. Seems happier, seems
Mhm.
more joyful,
Yeah.
and Powder is someone who doesn't really care about reaching their full potential.
Mhm.
And it's an episode that reminds us that she is a technical genius when she's not making bombs and
Yeah.
weapons of destruction.
Yeah.
He's almost like a Tony Stark.
And someone said that, right? There was a guy in the previous episode that was like, imagine what you would do if you weren't like destroying everything.
Right,
I
right.
can't remember who.
So what do you think of Echo's journey and learning that 4 seconds is the maximum time before Heimerdinger explodes?
So again, I think you said it in the intro. Probably one of my favorite episodes of the show as a whole. Why not? Right?
Mhm.
Just because I like seeing that world. I like seeing him, Powder, and Heimdinger working together. Um, the scene with the rewinding time when Heimdinger died. Ah, so good.
So
it
good.
was it was just so good because I think Heimdinger's hair was still
Yeah.
there, and like he could like smell like the like with organic matter had ceased to exist in that in that moment, right? Something happened, and I just love, as a sci-fi buff myself. I love things like that, right? It's very like Fringe.
Mhm.
My Fringe
Yes.
fans out there,
One of the best shows
um,
ever made ever.
literally ever. So that was really good, and even his whole interaction with Powder, right? From seeing her like immediately tossing something at her head, right?
Did you just
Thinking
throw
she was
something at me?
Jinx. But then I guess he saw Vander, right? I was like, okay, first of all, clearly not normal verse, but just that whole interaction to getting from there to the kiss with her, I thought
I like
was
that.
really, really well done, right? And that's why I was almost a little bit upset because I needed him to have some sort of interaction with her in the regular world,
Mm-mm.
on a personal level. But that aside, so I really enjoyed that episode just for also showing and reminding us like how smart he is, especially with him being able to work with Heimdinger, kind of similar to how Jason Heimdinger were.
Reminding us that Echo's his
Mm-hmm.
student, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing that.
And seeing him actually be a student and actually working on something impossible, because Heimdinger was like an inconceivable.
And he's like, so you can help me? No, I meant
No,
that literally. It's not possible.
it's like, but then proceeds to then do the impossible, right?
Right.
Because just of course,
He's just like, leave me alone. Let me go work. Go to the party. No, his actually exact words are something along the lines of like, thinking works better in solitary. But he's literally saying, leave me the fuck alone.
yeah, he's trying to be polite,
Right.
super polite. Which again, since we're free jumping here, because Heimdinger, what's happened to him? Where is he? Is
Where
he
is he?
like dot dot dot? I don't know if I like that we wouldn't get a blink.
I feel like he knew he wasn't traveling, at least.
Mm-hmm.
The way he left. Because,
Yeah.
he's the one that finished off and boosted the machine. And I feel
Yeah.
like he knew in boosting it, it was still had limited amount it could send.
Yeah, like I'm sure the organic matter
Yeah.
transference is not so easy for
Yes.
two
Yeah.
beings. Maybe it's fine for one, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I feel like he for sure knew. And even if not him, like the show was definitely dropping breadcrumbs. Like Powder kept saying to Echo, to move forward, you have to leave some things behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they were letting us know that you can't really proceed unscathed through some things. Let's be real, but you can still do the impossible, right, or the
Mm.
inconceivable. So yeah, I'm super curious where Heimdinger has ended up. And also if because Echo entered the body of this world's
Mm.
Echo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Evidenced by Powder was holding, Echo 2, while Echo 1, back with his tattoo, was on his way.
Uh-huh.
But, was there a Heimdinger of this world? I
That's the
also don't
question.
know. Because he just pulled up after what, 1,000 days,
Yeah. Yeah.
blah, 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 seconds.
3 years ish.
More or less 3 years, right? But these are the questions that my brain, almost wishes I got more time to get into, right? Like, oh, was there
Mm-hmm.
another Hamdinger? Is he here? Did he already die? Because you see that with Jace, Jason in his overhexed world sees, I guess, dead Jace holding the hammer. Oh, such a cool scene. Also, beautiful visual. So yeah, I'm very curious, and that's me finishing the point about just Echo's journey and world. Like I really love that sci-fi-ness. Kind of wish I got more of it. I was super curious about Powder having all the crystals, right?
Yeah. At the end, you're like,
Hmm.
oh, after all that, you had a whole bunch.
Like like um, ma'am, please,
Like
hey,
what?
speak up. You see something, say something.
Right. You just did
Like,
nothing.
what the heck? But then just the continuation of that point is, what is she gonna do with them now?
Yeah. Yes, that's the question. Um, and that's if we go back to that world, right? That is the question. Maybe this will be the beginnings of
Mm-hmm.
Hex Tech, but she would be the one that creates Hex Tech in
Yeah.
this universe. And what I liked in
Mm-hmm.
this episode is I think visually, there's always moments of incredible visuals in the show. We could spend hours just dissecting each moment, but this is a moment I liked. Visual storytelling. They do a good job of making us feel his confusion as to where the fuck am I?
Mm-hmm.
Just the craziness and there's the crazy editing, and just
Mm-hmm.
seeing people that are alive that are not. When
Yeah.
when
Silco
one of his
too.
friends, I think is Benza, that's his name, or
Mm-hmm.
one of the character that was dead, and the one that he
Yeah.
goes and hugs.
Yeah.
I love that moment because the audio just goes off. He doesn't hear what he's saying. He's just like,
Mm.
"You're alive," goes
Yeah.
and hugs him. I thought that was done really well. Even when he's kind of like zoned out and Powder snaps him out of it, and that snap, the visuals, you
Yeah.
just see the.
That was really good.
Thought that was great. That was great. The J side of the conversation was scary. I thought it was scary when he starts being followed by the metal people. They just
Fam.
like, you're
Fam.
like, oh
Nah.
shit,
Nah. That's like horror movie stuff, right? Just
so scary. And then he falls down. Like when he falls, the
he fell,
impact.
and then
Oh,
what, didn't he? Wait, he hit himself with the hammer before he
yeah,
fell or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'm black, you're like that. The whole that's what makes you pass out, basically. Like
Right.
I fully believe, like yeah, that that dude's knocked out, right? And just scary stuff to kind of be in that, and I like that we saw that because it's like, all right, yeah, that's what makes him smash anybody who's
I can
scaring
understand
any sort of
why.
hex tech.
Yeah, I'd be fearful of that future.
Hmm.
If I saw that, that's it. We're not making this future happen. I don't care who I have to
Yeah.
kill. This
Yeah.
future is not going to happen. Like it just, or even the moments of just the montage of passage of time. You can see, I think they did a good job of seeing his sanity slowly being
Slowly.
like
Yeah.
taken away. Like,
Hmm.
what was he eating?
I don't know, but some sort of berries.
Didn't look healthy. It was something that
No,
was like
some sort of
hexed up. It
yeah.
looks like bug hexed up bugs or
Yeah.
something like that. I like that he fashioned the hammer into a leg brace and just climbing up.
Hmm.
I could feel his pain every time he slipped.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, oh.
The impact was definitely clear.
And I think this episode for going back from Jace to Echo, they did a good job of just kind of again, both these characters learned something new, right?
About
Whereas,
hex or lack of hex.
but almost the opposite, but the same thing. Where Echo kind of comes in angry, pessimistic, and then leaves with a sense of renewed hope. for
Yeah.
the future.
And skill set and time machine device.
Right. Whereas Jace comes out like more like, oh, in fact, we see
Tarzan.
now why he's so angry, right? Because this is
Yeah.
before the previous episode. This is set, which is again, they should have played this episode before because I think it would have flowed better.
Yeah.
Because after this, he comes out and starts killing people.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't realize, you might think this happens afterwards.
Yeah. The impact was also fun though, because we're like, what? And then now we're like, oh, okay, fair.
Episode 8. Let's go into episode 8. This one, Mel makes a deal with the Black Rose, and we find out more about her powers and abilities.
A little bit more. Just
a little bit more.
A little bit more, because
More than
they're like, quick, go, tell them. And I'm like, no, I need, stop, more questions, stop.
Victor is brought back and helps Ambessa's army evolve, and Vi and Caitlin reconcile while Jinx struggles with her cycle of violence. This is almost like the build-up before the war, right? This is
or literally.
Yeah, this is that build-up before war. Everyone is kind of. Let's go to Mel. Mel breaks free from her spell. She goes all like a Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah.
And she's told that Ambessa made a choice, and that's why Sun is dead. She chose pride over progeny.
Yeah. I'm like, what does that mean though? Like, what did she choose? How?
And she tries to recruit, the sorceress tries to recruit Mel. And Mel's like, oh, because, you're scared of me. And I love what she says. For the sorceress says, for the gifted, arrogance is the ultimate threat. Your power has merit, but should one want you dead, a simple blade will do nicely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like, girl, you still bleed. Let me just tell you, right? There's no
get
your
over
insides
yourself.
are the same. Yeah, like shut up.
Get over yourself, please. Okay, you don't have to. I'm not trying to fight you here. We have to work together. And we talk about Mel and Jace reunite. There's that one moment, but they don't reunite afterwards as before. And it's one theory that you spoke about before the internet's been speaking about, how they survived the explosion from Jinx.
This is season 1.
It's because of her suit protected Jace. And he was like, why didn't you protect anyone else? I should kill you. And she's like, I couldn't do anything about it. And he's like, okay, fine. We're friends again.
All right, besties.
I did like when she doubted herself. And he's like, I've been confused about a lot lately. But one thing he's not confused about is that there's no force in the world that can control her. Yeah. She will never be a passenger. I was like, that's right.
I was like, you tell her, boy.
That's right. She's not a passenger. And this is
you talk about Caitlin and Vi. Yeah,
I was going to talk about that. Yes, because Vi comes out and says, "Well, f you for putting my sister in jail." And Kate's like, "But no, but it was your fault." But no, but shut up. She put herself in jail.
Like, like, yeah, listen. Like, I'm trying to
listen
talk.
to me. She put herself in jail. I didn't want to do anything. In fact, you know what? Caitlin's like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
Like, I hate her. She hates me. We kill each other. And this is the episode that talks about the cycle of violence. She's talking about the cycle of violence. Mel talks about the cycle of violence with Ambessa and how they can change things. And Jinx has her premonition vision of Silco saying the circle of violence that even started before he was there.
Which again, wasn't really addressed because we're dealing with Victor's violence. But anyways,
well, that's the thing. Trying to stop this cycle of violence, but I feel like it's just more words said as opposed to fully the actions. Yes, I understand Powder's actions and why she wants to stop the cycle of violence, just because she feels self-hatred in herself.
Yeah,
and she feels that when she says to Vi, you don't have to worry about being happy anymore. You don't have to worry about me anymore. So I understand it from that perspective, right? But I still feel like we need to have spent more time with her understanding that perspective in the first place.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And when Jinx was in jail, I don't know, when she was peeling her nails, the blood, I could actually feel it. It was hurting me. It's just like, again, testament to good animation when you can,
Mhm.
like, you could feel the intensity of that. And the scene, I feel like Jinx is just going to go down as one of my favorite on-screen characters, because her, even as little as her, when she locked Vi in the prison cell and she just like
Mm.
disappeared, Fast
Yes.
Mountain style, into
Yes, yes.
the
Or just even
shadows. It's just
her
so
hair
good.
spread
Oh,
out.
Rapunzel,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
so good, right?
I like the fight between, because while Mel and Jace are talking, I love that moment because then Jace is like, "God, God, God." I thought he's gonna
And
attack
then,
Mel,
yeah, same. And
but
then Ultron walks in. That's literally, I
can I
literally
tell
got
you,
Ultron vibes. Tell me.
I don't know if it's just me or whatever, there are a lot of Avengers, just straight up Avengers vibes in this final act. You have the Ultron vibes. You have the on your left when Echo arrives out of nowhere.
Yeah,
You have some fights that feel
Captain
like
America.
Thanos fights.
Yeah,
Like the whole episode 9 feels like an epic battle we saw in Endgame.
for
I just
sure.
thought in a
Warwick
good
is
way,
very, very like Hulk, Red Hulk.
right?
No.
But we get a great fight between Victor, well, Robot Victor, Jace, and Mel.
So, Ultron.
I thought that was a crazy fight. Like, I like how the
Yeah,
robot moves. They did a good
yeah,
job of the robot body moving, and even
yeah,
like when the robot grabs Jace, they do a great job of animating in a way that it's effortless for the
mhm,
robot. Like,
yeah.
come
Exactly.
like
It's
you're a
like
rag doll,
it picks the shortest distance to
right?
mess you up.
Right. I was
No,
like, oh shit, damn, that's
no,
cool.
no, I agree. Really well done. And the visuals of the robots as well, right? Like
Hmm.
with the hex tech, like, almost tattoos or like body morphism. It just looks really good on screen, right? Is the simplest way to put it. And I really appreciated that fight. And even the way Mel concluded it, just the various things. Because yeah, you're right, it's Marvel, because Mel for sure, Scarlet Witch or whatever. And it definitely just gave that vibe. And so I love seeing those Victor androids. And then even in the finale, which we'll get to, they just look really good.
Hmm. Um, and I did like the kind of revelation that we talked about last week in terms of Mel and Mbessa, and Mbessa wants
Uh-huh.
to keep Mel away because protection. No, Mbessa wants to keep Mel away
Lies.
because she's a weapon,
Uh-huh.
and she wants to keep that weapon to herself so nobody else knows about it.
Yeah.
And again, Mbessa's she'll talk about I carried him in my womb, whatever. I love how she tries. She almost has that kind of penguin-esque aspect to her. Where she's trying
Yeah.
to convince herself that she's doing the
Yeah.
right thing
The
when you're
right thing.
absolutely
Yeah.
not doing the right thing
It's like
in
not at all. Like,
in any capacity.
like, just stop justifying rubbish.
Um, Episode ends with Victor's transformation. You know what I like in that moment where because obviously he tries to talk with Jason. Jason's like no, and so he's like okay fine, get Ambessa, get your man to transform me. I like how his face
Yeah.
splits open
Oh,
and the other
yeah.
face comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Oh,
so cool. And then this begins the Jace getting everyone to work together. Let's team up for the impending doom. And I'm just like,
he walked in silence, or what did he say? He wasn't silent, but just like, I'm here now. I'm the
right,
captain.
I'm the captain
I'm
now.
the captain now.
Oh, actually, there's one line I liked with Ambessa and Mel fighting, and then Mel says something about you can have your vengeance. When she tries to tell her mom like, "Hey, let's stop fighting Piltover people. I can work with you.
Okay.
You can have your vengeance against the Black Rose. We can do that together." And then and you really see Ambessa's true motivation, right?
Mhm.
She says, "Their very nature violates the most core of Noxian principles that every one of us is equal on the battlefield. That through
Mhm.
cunning, sweat, and steel, we shape our destiny." So she's basically just like, you know what, magic.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't about that magic life. Let me be honest. You got me.
So I'm just letting you know that magic, right?
But
I'm
then
all
she's
about
using. I guess she's down to use magic to stop magic, right?
yes.
Is her plan?
She's like,
But
I'm
so
all
so
about these two
silly.
fists. Let's
Yeah.
go. She's a
Let's go.
funny
Let's get these thousands of androids to
sucker.
also work with us. Like,
Use magic to enhance
okay.
my men. And so they can fight fair. That's all she sees. She sees anything that's more powerful than her as a threat.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
and I, and I like that.
I almost wanted to say that, honest. I guess, well, it's not a spoiler because we're in spoilers. Like, they would have won this victory if Victor had taken over Ambessa as well. Like
True.
if she had given that body to the technology, nah,
True.
unstoppable. Imagine
True.
having Warwick and her. Forget it. Game over. Not to discount her because her fights in the finale, I mean, top tier, right? She earned her on screen time for sure.
Oh, of course, of course. And let's go to that finale, the final episode. Most of it is just one amazing action sequence over another.
Yeah.
And it's one of those
Yep.
things where if I'm sure you could just do video analysis of all the fighting in this episode alone, it would be like
100%.
3 hours
Yeah.
because there's like amazing detail. There's moments where you see Vi using her gauntlets as
Mm-hmm.
jet propulsion to fly.
Yeah.
Right, things like that. You see Echo do like a kickflip on his hoverboard and do some cool stuff, and and
Yeah.
and 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 and, and
Jace
uh,
also flew with his
yeah,
to
right, with his
follow
hammer
Victor. Like,
Thor
okay.
style.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this episode opens with we have set up from it's the payoff from Echo's episode where he learnt about reversing time,
Yeah.
and he prevents
From
Jinx from committing
Jinx.
suicide. What did you think of that scene?
Crazy. That was a beautiful scene, right? But
So good.
crazy. It's crazy how many times he had to use it.
She's like, "Come on,
Like,
stop
she's
this."
like, like, ma'am, like, like she kept going. I think she even went so far as to fall off,
Right,
right?
right.
Like she was mid death, which I feel like was also a premonition for
Mm,
her falling off
mhm.
the ledge kind
Later.
of by the end of the
Mhm.
episode. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that scene. And again, the negatives, I just really wanted that interaction between them. I wanted more of that. I feel like
Mhm.
there was a lot of good things that could come from seeing Echo and Jinx. And I do honestly, I hope that in the future we do. I hope the
I
future
like them as a
is
couple.
vast. Mm-hmm. I feel
Actually,
like they
it
could do a
works for
lot.
me.
They could do a
Yeah.
lot.
He says to her, and this is why I alluded to at the beginning of the episode, he says to her, and I think this is the theme of the whole show. And I almost wish we went deeper into this. He says,
Mhm.
I learned from someone that no matter what happens in the past, it's never too late to build something new, someone worth building it for.
Yeah. I'm like,
And I think
aw,
I was like, I love it. I love
Echo,
it. I'm not crying. You're
Echo.
crying.
And my boy didn't get a happy ending on
Right.
screens. Nah, I don't like that at all.
During the battle, we have some key moments. And Bessa comes out with her chain
Let's
gauntlets.
let's start correctly. Oh,
How dope was that? With a
so
chain. Oh,
so fantastic. And then Caitlyn tries to shoot her, and she's like, "Beep,
block.
beep."
Using Rictus's runes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She had her runes on her arm.
R.I.P.
Right. Right. I love that. Again, this is for me, this is one of those bittersweet moments where it's just like, I knew it, but damn it, we could have played more with this when you found out that Maddie is the betrayer. That bitch.
I feel like I should have known it. I wasn't. I think because I was
I
thinking about
said it
so many.
last week.
You did, yes.
I said, what if
I've
she's
been thinking
working for
about so
Ambessa?
many different things, and so it didn't like stick with me. Like, oh, keep track of the possible snitch, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the moment when it happened was it was good, perfect, like quick plot twist at the finale, and I just love how she went down. Like
Oh, the best.
fantastic, like
The best.
so good, like Mel MVP of the entire
I
season
did
just for that.
appreciate your warmth. No, she tries to,
It's like wow,
I
like
was with my wife and I literally just like, oh, I pressed pause. I was like, did that just fucking
this
happen?
she like Mel
I
just
was
literally fantastic, excellent timing, best way to go, just like
just the way
because
she
you
flops
ever see
down.
yeah, like immediate gun KO.
I was like, boom.
Knockout.
Oh. I was like, holy shit.
Fantastic, right? And even Ambessa's cheeky remark, right? Of I told you about professional
Mm.
entanglements or
Yeah.
whatever she said, like, like I did warn
Yeah.
you, did
Yeah.
I not? Yeah, so good.
I did like when Ambassador's having that conversation to Mel, and she's like, "You remember?" And then Kay's like, "Shut up!" Punches her straight
Like,
mid sentence. Shut up and fight.
it's let's be. Caitlyn goes down as an MVP too. I mean,
Yes.
again, she's not a perfect character, but like, I love people who are like hands. Like she's like, I got these hands, man. She took her eye to get those
The
runes off
runes. Yep.
Ambessa, right? Like
Yep.
she's never, and Ambessa even called her out and gave her props, previous episode. But when they were talking, she was like, you never back down, child, or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I just love that straight up to the end. Caitlyn's like, nah, like, trust me, you can get it. Whether I've been stabbed, whatever it be,
Mhm.
just trust is going down. So well done, Kate.
And I liked
Mhm.
when again, that teamwork between Kate and Mel, like Mel
Yeah,
protecting her, and Bessa throws the spear, Mel
yeah.
protects her, deflects, and kills one of her guards. I was like, "Damn."
It's just like, wow. Sorry, bystander
Oh, my
guard, but
bad.
like it's
And
like fair enough, right? It's not just gonna land on the floor.
and that fight between, Mel, Kate, and Mbessa, that
Hmm.
reminded me of the Avengers fighting Thanos. Like, Mbessa
Hmm.
felt like Thanos. There's
Yeah,
just her imposing nature and, like,
yeah.
fight, just the hits and the punches. I was like,
Captain America, Thor versus
"Damn."
Thanos,
Right, right,
specifically, like those
exactly.
vibes for sure.
I was like, "Oof." And then as soon as the runes come off, I love that it doesn't waste any time, and Mel's just like, "A wolf has no mercy."
Woo!
I was like,
No,
"Oh."
and I think the line was made even better by the fact that she did the double homicide, right? It
Yep,
wasn't just like,
yep,
oh, Ambessa's down. It was like, no,
nope.
Ambessa and you crazy sister. By the way, who's doing all this stuff? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Like, please, I serve Jesus Christ. I don't know about all this black rose power. Mel like just
Like,
Holy Ghost fire.
nope, nope. And I just
Cleanse it all.
and the dramatic irony of it, because again, Mbessa had said that to her about a wolf having,
Mm-hmm.
no mercy, and it's like, "Oh, you said it. I tried to show mercy, but you
So
told me so."
self-fulfilling prophecy ish,
Right,
right?
right.
Or like, well done for mentioning it. And so yeah, well done, Ambessa. Great on-screen villain. I would definitely watch a young Ambessa show,
Oh, yes,
or
for
see
sure.
spin-offs with just the things that she's done, or even how she got this way, right? I would be
Mhm,
willing to wager that, in her backstory, she wasn't always this cynical, or always this like something happened to make her be like, I hate magic, I hate all of this,
mhm.
etc. And it has to do with this Black Rose probably, and her son. And honestly, I would love to see the exploration of what happened with her and the son and the decision, blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
yeah, just thank you, Ambessa.
I like the fight. Like when they had the double fight, you have Jace versus Victor, and then you had Vi and
But
Jinx
Survivor versus Warwick.
versus Warwick.
Hmm.
And I love when the fights intersect when they're flying. It's like
Hmm.
they pass each other, things like that. I thought that was really cool. Or just the moment where like um uh, uh, Powder comes in with just the chain gun, the rail gun
Hmm.
on Warwick. It just bounced off his
It's
chest, his
fantastic.
back. Just
Like,
like that ain't shit.
and it looks so epic on her side, right? Like,
Right?
oh
Like
my gosh, and it's it's literally like paint. It's less than paintball to him.
right.
It's not even staining his skin. It's
No,
just
no,
like
he's just like, what are you doing?
absolutely nothing.
And I
Um,
gone.
I'll give it a quick rewind. And Jinx's entry. Her
Oh
entries are just
yes.
so cool.
Yes.
Entries are just always just so fantastic, right?
No,
And
all the entries.
she looks just so cool.
Like with the hood on, the new hood and
Hmm.
and the air
The
balloon,
short hair.
right? Or even Ambessa's intro when she's walking up the stairs with the mask on
Oh
and the
yeah,
music just changes like
just
to like some vocal sounds of women wailing. I was like, oh
honestly,
shit.
like wow, wow, wow,
Or
wow.
even Mel's entrance, right? After she saves Kate, then the door opens and she
With the
walks through
doors,
with the
right?
hood.
It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
y'all know who it is.
Yes,
It's
I
your
killed her
girl.
without seeing her. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, she
Yeah.
protected her. Wasn't even in line of sight because the doors were closed.
I think it's showing the like extent of her power, right? Because you're right.
Right.
That's like super X-ray pinpoint magic, like
Mhm,
good timing. I also like have spider sense,
mhm,
all mixed and baked in one.
mhm. I like the sequence when Victor finally starts getting control of everyone. Like, I love the visual. As soon as everyone gets caught, their body just go limp. And they just pulled up like rag dolls, like,
Also, look,
instantly, you
yeah,
know. But of course, you have the on your left moment, and I'm not quite sure. And if you can explain to me how come Echo doesn't get grabbed? Because it doesn't. I don't know. Because at first I was like, does he dodge it? Does he get away from it? Watching it
yeah.
again, they just doesn't. They don't even approach him. Like
I
a beam
I
from
I
light doesn't come and hit him.
I feel like though it wasn't sure, and I just or they almost get away with his device. Maybe he's been dodging it every 4 seconds. Maybe he almost got caught, and he now goes
Yeah.
like, because no matter what, it's definitely going to like a place, right? Like it's
Mhm.
I don't think it's not Bluetooth per se.
Yeah, yeah,
However,
yeah.
this beam of light works, so it's trying to catch you at a place, so you
Yeah.
can possibly like maneuver around it. So
Yeah.
that was like my mental off screen explanation.
Mhm.
But yeah, his entry was just so good. Even the scene where they caught him, and he kept like rewinding, and
Yeah.
he was like still caught. It was like
Yeah.
nah, bruh, like
You passed the 4 seconds.
yeah, sorry, and he's like, all right, I know what to do. Crank that soldier boy.
But here's my thing and my confusion, and I don't know how
Mhm.
I feel about that, is you established to us that there's ramifications for going past the 4 seconds,
Yeah,
namely, this person died. One,
yeah,
how does that work? Was it proximity? Was it because
yeah,
Paddle wasn't there, but
yeah.
she was close enough, but she does nothing happens to her.
Mhm, mhm.
And but then why was the 4 seconds okay now? Because I don't
Yeah, so
understand
that's what
why.
I couldn't tell what happened. I was like, oh, what's
Right,
honestly, I was expecting him to like, if I'm being honest, like lose his leg, like
right, right,
his leg was gonna
right,
explode, like that.
right. Someone next to him explodes or something,
Yeah.
right?
So I don't I might even like rewatch to see if maybe something exploded next to him and I missed it, because I
Mhm.
very much I almost like was like, oh my gosh, he's doing it, oh, like like get ready, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Vi is about to disappear
Right,
for
right. Someone's going to
absolutely
die.
no reason.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, it almost seemed like a quick um they're like, yeah, don't worry about it.
I do like, I like whenever you have something like a MacGuffin like this, where it's like, oh, this device helps me time travel. I like where there's kind of rules and limits. So,
Mhm.
for example, in this one, it seems that just because I can do the event again, so I get punched in the face, do the event again, I
Yeah.
still feel the pain of that punch.
Yeah.
It's not like that gets rewound and taken away,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's
It's not
exhausting. Like every time he keeps on doing it with the thing, he's like, "Can you just stop?
yeah.
Let me breathe
Like
for a second."
it's not Groundhog Day. Like
Right? It's not like like he does it like he stops feeling the pain. He'll feel the pain. He feels exhausted. And I love the sequence when he's just going through in his hoverboard and he gets clotheslined. Ooh.
yeah, like
And
straight up
rewinding in there.
that would have hurt.
And even the visual of when he does the rewind, when he pulls the chain and the camera zooms in on the chain, it goes right through and you see the spark. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
animation. This is where all the money budget is going
Yeah, right.
to.
Right. It just hit him on his bike and the time travel alone.
Right. Um, ultimately, everything is resolved. And I want to ask you about this resolution. All right. On paper, the resolution ends up being we find out that Victor is doing all of this because he realizes that all this fighting and everything comes to do with human emotion, and our emotions, our imperfections hold us back.
Uh-huh,
So it's just
uh-huh.
better to make us one hive mind where we can all be together.
Like
But
Madara. Uh-huh.
what he realizes in the far future, as he says, and I love this quote, I thought I could bring an end to the world's suffering. But when every occasion was solved, all that remained were fields of dreamless solitude. There's no prize to perfection, only an end to pursuit.
Please just
I love that line. I love that line. And even Jay's telling him, like, you're always trying to fix yourself, but don't
yeah.
realize that those imperfections are what make us
But-
who we are.
Yeah.
And you find out that this is a whole time loop where Victor has been trying to fix things. He's been going to different universes and giving different versions of Jace a different
Just
runestone
so
to fix things. And this is the one where it
it
worked.
worked, yes.
And together they decided, let's just leave everything again, continue to talk about cycles. They broke the cycle and then destroy the rune and disappear.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of this ending?
Beautiful stuff. I love the I like every time I love Victor's accent when he says glorious evolution. It sounds so good. Like that quote you said, the pride for perfection and to pursuit. Whew.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
like Sonny Banderas, it really hit home. And
mhm,
yeah, man, Victor is like the Jesus of this verse.
mhm. Well, the Jesus
Um,
and the devil at the same time,
right, yeah,
right?
literally. And even there was a little thing when Jace first appeared in this overhex world. Like obviously, like you could almost guess it was Vic, kind of, but like
Mhm,
I think that there was the sound of his metal leg when he was walking towards him, and it's just little things like that are why this show is is going down as an all-time fave, right? All problems aside, nobody's perfect, but the attention to detail in some of the animation and just the entries for characters and it being a foreshadowing for later, is
mhm,
just top notch. So I guess I also do like the Victor saw Jace as a child, right, and kind of set him down this path a little bit thread.
mhm,
I always like when we see that things have been brewing for a very
mhm,
very long time, right, and
mhm.
it's not just like oh
But I almost wish with that, you almost had some kind of undercurrent of Victor. I mean, I guess it kind of has been there, but I feel like it was so subtle because for the longest time, Victor was just like trying to fix himself in
Yeah.
season one, and then he was in the cocoon, and
Yeah.
then this Victor. I wish this version of Victor came out earlier, so to speak. I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
again, maybe it'll feel better if I could. Again, I think just think about it now. I'm wondering how much like the 2-year gap between seasons affected us.
Mhm.
You know, whereas I wonder how it'd feel if I just watched the whole thing in one go now.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm definitely going to do, and it's
Of
going to
course,
be. I can't wait. It's
of
going to be
course,
amazing,
of course.
and maybe it'll be fine. Like, it's not really a problem when everything you have on screen is good. It's just
Mm.
annoying when there's so much missing for everything you see on screen because there's so much. It's like wow,
Mhm.
so literally so much.
I mean, the first thing we said at the beginning of the season was there's a lot of plot.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's all good. That's the thing. It's all good plot. And then so it's like, how do you decide which one gets the most focus? I mean, these episodes are long too, and even
Yeah.
then,
I
even
feel
then,
like honestly, it should be longer. Like, hey man, if you're gonna spend that much time with Caitlyn and Vi in the jail cell, I
bring
I feel
back
like I can get more.
22
Of
episode seasons.
literally, man. 24 was a good time. Like one
Right,
hour,
right,
24 episodes. That's like
right,
a day of viewing.
right. Um, I did like when the control gets severed, and I was
hmm
like, half the people were floating. I don't know.
Like, oops,
Ha I just see
oops.
bodies dropping. I was like, "Oh, shit."
Right? Like, yeah, this isn't a Disney movie. And aren't
Right.
not gonna just magically like float to the ground. Like, gravity
W
still works.
Okay, so I get it. I get it. I understand. But were you like me where you're like, "Why? That is not Vander." Like, let him go. She's just trying to rub
If
him.
you hear how we're screaming, my accent has even changed. If you hear how we're screaming there, I, I was like, right, do not. It almost felt like it was okay. This is how we have to force the plot for something to happen to Jinx or the other. Because it's like, come on, girl, just go back to Jinx. Especially because it's you. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it too, but Vi, you're also so hardcore that like I feel like you should easily just be like, miss you, pop. Even kick him down, right? Not just wait, but be like, whoop, just quickly get rid of that. So yeah, that was it was a very well, okay, not the same level, but very much like Star Lord with the Thanos thing,
Mm,
where I'm
mm,
like,
mhm.
do not
Don't do
do
it.
do
Don't do it.
oh my
Don't do it.
yeah, I can't believe you. We could have had a happy ending, nice and easy, but no.
Um, the ending. We get an ending that I love seeing Caitlyn's eye patch. That's pretty cool. As everyone rebuilds, Mel is now leading the Noxians. You see her. We talked about
Mhm.
it. We're carrying her mother's mask.
Yes.
Echo's mourning his friends, and Vi and Caitlyn are together grieving Powder. What I like at the end, it's alluding to the fact that do you think Powder's still alive? The explosion.
Me, yeah, for sure.
Caitlin is looking at schematics of the building, and she sees some pipes that that could have been getaway options, and she's
Yep.
playing with Powder's grenade. So it's almost like she trying to figure out if she could have survived. You think she
Yeah.
survived?
Because one, she survived a previous explosion, right?
She's enhanced. We
Powder.
know that.
Two, two, um, and three. If I'm not mistaken, so I actually read this and I haven't gone back to confirm myself. Kind of, I'm saying something happened. Sourced with my own eyes, but apparently there was like a little flash of pink,
There is a flash
in
of
the
pink,
explosion. Okay,
some
good. And
Wanda
we see that
Maximoff
a
style.
lot. Yeah, and we also see that a lot of times. When Jinx is fighting, she has that like streak of pink
Yeah, she can
um
move fast.
in her eye, exactly. So also because I just watched this movie, you should all rewatch it. Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. Really good movies.
Great series.
The second one, very similar, right? To that ending to Moriarty, where it's like, oh yeah, we're falling down to the end, bye. And then later it's like, haha, actually, I survived through the tunnels and I held my breath underwater for 30 minutes. So yeah, just especially because I'm free to guess what I want to guess. So yes, Powder is alive, and her and Echo have met up and are living a very happy life.
There's a line people are catching on to that in the very first season opening sequence we see, it opens with the same way this closes, with one of those airships floating by.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first episode, Powder says something along the lines of, "One day I'm going to be in one of those."
Mm.
And so her death, and we cut to that. People are assuming
I wanna
she's
see
in
that
that.
airship. Yeah.
She's in that airship flying. And then also, and I don't know why this is done, but I don't know if you noticed it, but at the very, very end, there's a quick flash of the end written in Powder's scratchy style artwork.
Yeah.
And it's just it says the end. And I'm like, but why is it such a quick flash? It's literally you
Yeah.
have to pause it to read it. It doesn't say the end question mark.
Yeah.
So it's not question mark, but it's still a quick flash
Yeah.
as a tease. I don't know what that means, but it's something that happens, I would say. And also, finally, this is something for hardcore fans of the lore, and which is I don't put myself amongst that group, unfortunately, not just yet.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yes.
the,
I wish I
yeah,
could, but
exactly.
I'm
I
just,
wish, and I wouldn't have known this. It's something that's
I hated the show at first, which was, I'm not kidding. The first time I saw it, I saw the first episode. I'm like, I don't like this art style. I don't know what's wrong with me that day. It's in a bad mood, and then I came back and like now it's like top 5 things I've ever seen
it's like the
ever.
best. There's a sequence which I'm sure you paid attention to, you just don't know what it means, where you see the crow come in and it's like, and it's got 6 eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Well,
Oh,
I did some
what
research
is he
in the
been
lore.
drinking?
In the lore, that means something that is hinting at, I won't say who it is, but that's hinting at a future character who could possibly be a foe to Mel. This is
Say
why,
it.
this is why I think,
Say it.
well, I don't want to say it because I don't know the story, so I don't want to mess up things. I just know
Say
that
it.
this is someone who
Oh,
is I think it's also a Noxian, and is one of the other Noxians that might be a foe
mm,
to Mel and the continuing story. And that's why I
yeah.
say I think any future stories might focus on Mel,
I saw a
because of
random rumor today, yeah, about or they are planning spin-offs now on the whole League of Legends lore. So I'm so willing to bet that Mel is getting fully featured either in her own show or a feature of another show. Like
Mhm.
I'm such I would literally bet on that.
I'm curious though, because of budget reasons, if
Mhm.
future iterations are going to have this kind of hard animation, or they'll just be more traditional. Because they went
Listen,
hard.
maybe a mix, man. I think especially because this is my field. Once the creative world and AI reach a happy medium where it's like you're able to not use AI to replace, but use AI to just like kind of cut down maybe some of the time that some things take.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like we can get. It doesn't have to be this exact level of Arcane, but like I'd even take like an 85% of it and more content. Like I feel like I'd be happy with that as a viewer, right? Where
Mhm.
it's still like clearly human curated and human like guided and created, but
Mhm.
just a little bit more like the density of some of the stuff in this is crazy. Like
Mhm.
the locket that Echo gave to
Oh, yes.
Powder, if you zoom in on it, has his face and her face. Um, it's like okay, great, but wow,
This is
maybe I didn't need
detail.
that. Yeah,
Super detail.
fantastic, amazing, but like okay, for doing more spin-offs, I might not need that that level of animation. It's like that's what I
Right.
mean when I say like I feel like there's a chunk they could shave off of that
Mhm.
would allow them to probably do a little bit more and kind of flesh out some of these storylines without having to like do like again I'm never saying do less than your best, but there is like a happy medium of like just do a little bit less and you can give us more.
Um, Anything else that we haven't spoken about that stood out to you? There's a quick moment I like during the battle where
Mhm.
the soldiers are getting the gas grenades ready, and the one of the guys looks at each other like, "Let's go." Guy gets up. Idiot takes too long.
Like
I was like,
it's like I'm gonna throw it
"Throw it."
now.
He just like gets up,
Just,
breathe, throw. What?
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course you're gonna take it out.
That's like
Like, oh, this guy.
so silly. And that this scene was great, yeah, because we didn't mention it. Just the effort that they went to um just for a piano guy to then push the guy off the seat and then aim the
Yeah,
gun
yeah, yeah.
and shoot the Victor cocoon and it wasn't
And
even
it's
in
fake.
there. It's
Fake.
like well,
No,
like
but even
duh.
even the effort to get the bomb over to the cocoon, right? The first time where
Yeah,
one guy gets killed, the green guy picks it up,
and
Mel
and the
protects him.
gas, yeah, his mask is off. He
Yeah.
inhales some of the gas. He puts it on. The nail prevents it. It can't
I
even
just like,
explode,
you kidding
and
me?
it was all for naught.
All for nothing. But I like that.
Literally just fantastic.
So
I
good.
think it was just again exemplifying some of Ambesa's military strat and tactics.
Mhm.
Like, y'all really thought I would just
That easy.
how like make it obvious and clear. Like, don't be dumb, y'all. Don't be dumb.
One final thing I'll mention, all 3 episodes, and as the show continues to do, the music was spot on with the
Yeah,
emotion. Ah,
fantastic.
the song in episode 7, the time travel one, where it ends up with, you find out it was Heimerdinger who was singing the song in the montage.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Powder's song, her death song,
When she's
call it.
falling and dying, yeah, yeah.
Because every
Um,
time she's almost dying, it plays, and the final time it
mhm.
plays again. I was just like, I'm not crying,
I'm
you're
just
crying.
like, stop it, guys. Don't,
Stop.
don't do this.
So good, so good. Hey, so I think ultimately, despite issues, as we said at the beginning of this episode, I enjoyed this show. I enjoyed this
Yeah.
series, and my frustrations come because a balance because of how much I liked it. I think if I didn't like it, I wouldn't care about the frustrations. It would just be
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever. But because I
Yeah.
cared. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Um, yeah, man. Really, really good stuff. I think a really good entry point into, I guess, even League of Legends lore. I think because I play a lot of games, and maybe you as well.
Mhm,
You know how deep the lore in some of these games can be.
mhm,
And I think what this has done is also just opened the door for more well thought out adaptations, right? And I
mhm,
don't mean sometimes the quick and dirty. No, like you don't always have to do that. Like, take your time, go deep into it, and you will be rewarded.
mhm,
I think the following, the fans that I know this show has, all well deserved. Even some of us with our complaints, or even those that I've heard that are really upset with the finale, they're just really upset, but in a positive way. It's a weird way. It's a weird thing, right? It's not like,
mhm,
ew, what is that on screen? It's more like, ugh, you semi butchered this part of the story, but like,
mhm,
what you did was really good. Like, I'll mark your paper good grade, but there's so much more you could do. So I feel
mhm.
like they definitely need to lean into that, whatever that looks like. Like I said, I've never considered before now ever playing League of Legends, but now I'm like, I mean,
And
I mean, I'm curious.
you can tell, like, a lot of the visual, because some characters went through the different clothing changes,
Hmm.
visual changes. You can tell there's a different costumes from the game.
Yeah, even
You
Jace
could,
with like his red shoulder
right, right.
pad apparently is like iconic, and like
Right,
I almost wish I could have that. I could have injected in my brain all of the Easter eggs, so that when I
right,
saw them,
right.
I'd be like, oh yeah, that's
And
so
Bessa's
cool.
gauntlets,
Uh,
there's
mm-hmm.
something. I'm sure there's something. The
No,
mask is
they
probably a look.
I think she has like a lacerate attack, if I'm saying
Yeah,
that
yeah,
correctly, which is
yeah.
very similar to what she did on the bridge at the beginning.
I
So
love when she misses and she kills her own gods.
see, that's just she's so brutal, but it's just like literally whatever. Um, And like I said, it's a lot of Jinx's entries were just top tier. I love
Mhm,
her, the character, and what
mhm,
she ended up just representing, symbolizing. Her character arc felt fun as well.
mhm,
So yeah, top show. Did a really good job. Excited, and I truly, I'm holding on to the fact that I know there's going to be more spin-offs
mhm,
to just let me not see this as like, oh, like I feel like this was a full stop to the Vi and Jinx sisterhood story ish, right? Even if Powder's still alive, but it's not like an end to the entirety of what it all represents, and especially because it's tied to a game, right? It's like it goes on forever. But issues aside, I think really really well done and great stuff.
What do you nerdies think of this finale, Act 3? What do you think of this season? And what do you think of the series as a whole? Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch. Also, you can find us via email, the Nerdy Bunch podcast at gmail.com. Check out some of our other podcasts. Now that this is over, we have a whole bunch of new things coming in down the pipeline.
Finally.
Check that we're currently doing Dune Prophecy, we're currently doing Silo, and check out some of the other stuff that will be coming down the line. I'm not going to mention it just yet, but keep it locked on the Nerdy Bunch to find out and give us recommendations on things you'd like us to watch and review. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name is English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch final review for Arcane. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.